Alright, so real quick before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that this is going to be the last episode of the Gym Trash podcast uploaded to this YouTube channel. We did create a specific channel for our podcast, which I'll make sure to link in the description, and that is where you're going to be able to find all future episodes of the Gym Trash podcast, as well as we might start doing some other episodes, but we're not 100% sure on if we're going to. But yeah, just go there if you want to continue listening to our episodes on YouTube. If not, you can always find them on Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, and then some other places, which we'll also have links for in the description. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome back.
Back to what, Jared? Gotta say it.
To the Gym Trash podcast. That's still a very weird title to say, but we came up with it, and we're sticking with it. So, today, we're going to be covering the last 2 volumes of Mysterious Girlfriend X, which means today is going to be Mysterious Podcast Y. Because it's the last one. Funny joke. Because we're also going to be covering the movie arc, which parodies the series by Mysterious Girlfriend Y. Ooh. Yeah. Which the movie arc is pretty much going to be the bulk of what we talk about today. Because before that and after that is a bunch of like little chapters, which I guess would constitute as filler until you get to the final 2 chapters. So there isn't a whole lot to go over. Yes, there is a lot of different chapters. So I will cover each of them like shortly, or try to, but it is going to be mostly the movie arc. Which, the movie arc, at an overview, it's okay. It's definitely not the best arc. I definitely still think that the Idol arc is like the best and my favorite. And then underneath that, Culture Festival, then movie. I just don't think that the movie arc was like that good, all things considering.
I don't really remember the movie arc at all. Like, I remember everything else except this, so maybe that tells me that, like, it didn't stick with there as much as, like, the Idol arc did, but maybe it is good, and I just kind of forgot about it.
Well, I'll be talking about it, so you'll get a refresher on what happened in the movie arc. So, Volume 5, which, real quick, Volume 5, again, fuck Volume 5, it's, like, it's like just completely poofed off the face of the earth. It's out of stock everywhere. So I had to take to Amazon and buy the digital copy, which I hated doing because I've been wanting the physical copy. I have all the other volumes, just not 5. So if anyone wants to sell their Volume 5 to me, I doubt it, but if anyone does, hit me up. I'll pay.
Go to the Instagram, the Gym Trash Podcast. No, just Gym Trash Podcast. Jared runs it. You can at him there.
Slide into the DMs with that Volume 5. Okay. So Volume 5 starts off with Urabe being sick, which might be a continuation of the last volume, because I know near the end of Volume 4, they were talking about like girls being sexy when they're sick because of glossy eye and messy face and all that, remember?
Yeah, with him taking off the mask, seeing her like drooling, and then like attacked.
Him getting bitch slapped because
Yes.
she didn't have her scissors on her. Yeah. So it starts off with Urabe being sick, which I'm gonna assume is a continuation of that, but I'm pretty sure she was better by the end of Volume 4. Not 100%, but pretty sure. But I guess if she wasn't, then now we know, because she's sick at the beginning of this chapter. And because her family's not there, Tsubaki goes over the weekend, I think, or after school one day because she was missing school, to take care of her. Which that's very nice. Sweet boyfriend taking care of his sick girlfriend.
Do you do that,
Yeah.
Jared? Do you take care of your girlfriend when she's sick, or is she like
she's never
back the
been
fuck up?
sick?
Oh,
No, she's never been sick with me. I'm the only one that's been sick.
has she taken care of you?
No, she hasn't.
We love couple goals.
Clearly, we haven't met that goal. So while he's there, he like makes her applesauce, which honestly I did not know you could make I don't know if it's true, but you can make applesauce by just like grating the apple, because that's all he does is he just grates it.
Oh, I thought you meant that you didn't know that you can make applesauce. I'm like, Jared.
Wait, you can make applesauce? I thought you could only buy that at the store.
I thought only it just appears on the shelves. Is that not how it works?
It just, someone says, I want applesauce, and then bam, there's applesauce on the shelves, ready to be sold.
I'm really craving applesauce right now, to be honest.
Yo, actually, it does sound pretty good. Maybe we'll go get some later. So yeah, he makes applesauce for her. And then when it's time to leave, he's like concerned about the fact that her family isn't home, so she's gonna be home alone all the time, or like home alone and sick, which mega bad, mega sucks.
If you haven't seen the plot of Home Alone and Home Alone 2, was there Home Alone 3?
And Home Alone 3.
Yeah, being home alone, it's not good.
You're gonna get the sticky bandits,
and
then the wet bandits. Actually, I think they were the wet bandits first, then the sticky bandits, but that's neither here nor there because we're not talking about that.
Our next anime debut will be Home Alone.
That could be your series. Ooh. So, once he has that thought, he goes back to her, takes off his shirt, which I have to question why he was. I mean, I know people do, but why was he wearing like a full, like, short sleeve shirt underneath like his button up? Because like usually people just wear wife beaters or tank tops underneath their like button ups, but no, this man was wearing a full shirt. So he takes off his button up and puts it like around her. No, he puts it on her, but when she wakes up, it's around her, like, those boyfriend pillows where it's just half a torso and an arm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just around her like it's a boyfriend pillow, which is kind of funny because, he's her boyfriend. Getting subliminal messages.
Ooh.
But yeah, so basically it just ends off with Tsubaki being jealous of his shirt because his shirt acted as a body double for him to watch over her over the night, which, cute. That's pretty cute.
Cute. Couple goals right there. Jared, if you don't do that,
I'm not leaving you my shirt.
I didn't mean me, but okay.
Oh. Whoops. But yeah, basically he's jealous of it because during the night she got super sweaty, as sick people do. So she washed her clothes and then just put on Tsubaki's shirt with nothing underneath it. So he's like, wow, I wish I was my shirt right now. I wish I was the body double for my shirt so I could be clinging to Urabe's body right now.
That's what goes through the mind of like everyone.
Every teenage boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we start the movie arc. Dun 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 dun.
The one I forgot.
Yep,
it's okay, according to Jared.
Yeah, it's alright. I even wrote that on the notes. It's okay. So it's time for the Culture Festival again. We get 2 Culture Festivals in this series. Wow, pretty snazzy. Yeah, now this one's at Tsubaki and Urabe's high school, which their class is doing a cafe, a maid cafe, I believe. But since Tsubaki is a ghost member in the movie club, which basically just means he's a member, but he doesn't actually go to any of their meetings. But for keeping the club alive, quote unquote, you need a certain amount of members. So he's just there while not being there.
I'm a ghost member for one of our clubs
at X college.
Yeah, X college
that we go to.
I joined. I've gone to 3 meetings out of their 150. So they have way too many meetings.
That's a lot of meetings.
It is. They have 3 every week. I'm not doing that.
Damn. Yo, I kind of want to join the Magic Club. Go and play Magic the Gathering.
Hey, Gym Trash Podcast viewers, y'all want to start a Magic tournament with Jared?
Oh, we'll follow y'all on Commander. Yeah, so the movie club, which he's a ghost member of, is, producing a movie. Because what else is a movie club gonna do?
Mind blown.
During a culture festival when they're the movie club and in a movie arc. Gotta produce a movie. So the vice president of the movie arc, or not the movie arc, of the movie club wants Suwano as her lead heroine, and because she saw Suwano at the swim meet. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, this girl be gorgeous. She'd be perfect for the role." Which she asks Tsubaki to ask her if she'll play the lead heroine because they're in the same class, so it's easier for Tsubaki to go and ask her than the vice president going out of her way to try to get Suwano.
I remember the movie arc now. It like all just hit.
Just all clicked.
Like when you reminded me that Suwano was now in Urabe's place.
Yeah.
Or main character, I guess.
Yep, she's taken over the role of the heroine.
Yeah, it just all hit.
Yep. So Suwano's like, sure, I'll consider it, but I know nothing about the movie. So would you take me to the club so that I can find out more about what's going on with the movie? So they go, and the vice president starts to explain the plot, but it's like eerily similar to what happened between Urabe and Tsubaki, which is why they call it Mysterious Girlfriend Y, or why Ricci called it Mysterious Girlfriend Y, because it's basically a parody of their real life.
Yes.
So a boy falls in love with the heroine, which in this case is going to be Suwano, after tasting her drool. Sound familiar?
I can't tell the difference.
I know.
That was not the line I meant to say. I meant to say something else, but okay.
We'll leave it in. So Suwano only agrees to take the role as the main heroine if Tsubaki plays the love interest, which, I mean, I guess that makes sense because they're like in the previous volumes setting up kind of something going on there, but not really. We'll get into more of that later. But then she also suggests Urabe play the rival love interest, which is kind of a weird choice because at this point she doesn't know that Urabe is Tsubaki's girlfriend. So like, why did she recommend Urabe? Maybe it was just because of like
how close they are. Wait, do people know that they're close?
No, not really.
No.
I was gonna say it's probably more because that Urabe has beat Suwano and like everything they've competed against. Like
that makes sense.
So maybe she's like, "Hey, let me try to get Urabe's love interest, and then I'll pummel her into the ground." But then also Ueno ends up playing Tsubaki's friend in the movie, and his reasoning is because they're friends in real life. So like it makes sense for them to play, the friends in the movie.
Ueno just really wanted to be in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, well, Oka really wanted to be in this movie, but she didn't get a role.
By association, Ueno had to be in this movie.
Now, Ueno got the part before Oka was like, let me be in the movie, because he went with Tsubaki and Sueno to the movie club to figure out what the movie was about.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So on the way home from school that day, Tsubaki asks Urabe if it's okay to, play the role in the movie despite Suwano being the main love interest, which he already figured was not going to be something she'd be happy about, which, what do you know? He was right. Because whenever they do their routine that day, he gets the same reaction to what happened during the swim meet. Like, I'm not going to call it arc, but like during the swim meet chapter, where he got like a heavy weight on his shoulder and just felt like very pushed down. So it's very obvious that Urabe doesn't want Tsubaki playing the role. So he's like, okay, I'm going to tell the vice president that I can't do it, that I no longer want to be, or that I don't want to be the love interest for the heroine, for Suwano. Which at this point, Oka, and we still hate her, just saying, she does some good things in this volumes, but we still hate her. She plots with Ueno to make Tsubaki and Urabe play their respective roles in the movie, which she basically does by indirectly telling Urabe that she needs to trust Tsubaki, which that's a good thing, but the way she did it,
pretty manipulative.
So yeah, she basically just tells Urabe to meet her in their classroom after class one day. But at the same time, we learn this later. But she asks Ueno to go with her to the classroom so that they can loudly talk about, Ueno wanting to play the role of the love interest and Oka being okay with it because she trusts him. And then they do the smoochy smooch.
The smoochy smooch.
Yeah, the smoochy smooch.
Everyone loves the smoochy smooch.
So Urabe's like, I get it. I need to trust Tsubaki. So now I'm going to let him play the role in the movie. And he's like super confused because it's like a full 180. And she's like, now I'm interested in it. And I'm going to play my role too.
Do you think Tsubaki actually wanted to play? He didn't really want to play this role.
I don't think he did. I read this yesterday, but I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I read this like months ago.
So the next day, the vice president busts out these model ruins of the school that the movie club's been making over like the course of the school year. And they find out that that's going to be like the last frame of the movie is based on ruins of the school, which is kind of confusing because like they initially thought it was just going to be a romance movie. Mm-hmm. But now there's some dystopian aspect to it too.
What did it have a plane crash?
It was basically like the school buildings like all torn up in like a rectangular shape, and in the middle of all that was a giant plane crash. But pretty much everyone agrees that they don't want to know the full story, so that way it could still be like a surprise to them, and they can play out what their characters are feeling in that moment. So they decide that it's probably best that the information be trickled to them scene by scene instead of them reading the entire script all at once.
Is that how acting works? Theater kids, is that how acting works?
You were a theater kid.
I was a sound technician.
Okay, then you didn't talk to any of the actors?
No, I didn't care about how scripts works.
Boy. I don't know if we'll have theater kids listen, but hey, if you know, slide into one of our DMs.
Twitter at the Gym Trash Podcast or
Instagram
at Gym Trash Podcast.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they start filming the movie, and it's basically reliving everything we've seen up until now, but with Suwano instead of Urabe. So it's basically like redoing the entire series just with a different girl. But Suwano, she acts, or she's supposed to act more like a actual girlfriend, quote unquote, in the movie. So there's more like lovey-dovey scenes or more cliche scenes that you'd find in a romance anime. Like one of them is Tsubaki walking in on her changing, because that happens a lot in anime.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is basically just like your cliche romance version of Mysterious Girlfriend X, but with Suwano and not Best Girl Urabe. So it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah. And they do the same like spit routine because that's what the vice president wanted to do, even though we're not sure how she got this idea, even though it's like basically frame for frame what Urabe and Tsubaki do. But instead of using actual spit, because that would be weird by their standards, because they don't know what's going on. And instead, they use a sports drink instead of spit. So basically, they just film Suwano putting her finger in the mouth, and then whenever she take it out, they cut, and then she dries it and puts sports drink on her finger. Which I have to question, because it wouldn't have the same consistency as spit. It would just probably, like, fall right off,
Okay, but also, like... Yeah,
it would just fall right off. It's not going to stay on your finger.
Like, even though it's not spit, is it still not, like, awkward for Tsubaki to have to, like, lick up someone's
Stick
finger?
another girl's finger in his mouth? In front of Urabe?
I guess Uwano likes it. But
yeah, which...
It's kinky shit.
That's basically this entire series. Kinky shit.
Yeah.
So throughout the filming, Tsubaki starts to get, like, confused in the head. Because whenever he's doing, like, the spit scenes with Suwano, it's becoming really sweet even though like I guess it in some degree it should, because it is a sports drink and generally sports drinks have sugar in them. So
Suwano's just adding more sugar on top of it.
Yeah. So Suwano's quote unquote spit is now becoming very sweet to him, whereas Urabe's spit is starting to become a little tasteless, which I feel like there's not very like there's no real repercussion or consequence to this fact. They just kind of mention it, fix it, and then move on, which I feel like is a big downfall to this movie arc. It doesn't really do anything for the story.
Yeah,
is like what I feel. So I feel like it's just kind of thrown in there to be another arc that happens.
I feel like after the idol arc, and like maybe after the movie arc, but like part way, I feel like the series is kind of starting to like, you can feel it's reaching an end or trying to reach an end.
Yeah, and I feel like, so again, like after the movie arc, it's mostly like a lot of filler, which makes me very sad because I love this series so much. But I feel like the ending is kind of rushed, or it's like rushing to get to that ending.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how like his name was Ricci.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's how he wanted to end it, or if like the company that he was publishing under, or like
Vertical Comics, or what was the other one? Kodansha.
Yeah, I wonder if that like they wanted him to end it faster.
I don't know. That would be something to look into. So yeah, like I was saying, Urabe's spit is now becoming like tasteless to him, which he's mega concerned about because he doesn't want that bond between them to be broken. And we even get a scene of him dreaming and doing the spit routine with Urabe, but then Urabe transitions into Suwano because her hair grows longer and that face changes, which is like a nightmare to him because he wakes up immediately afterwards. So of course he's concerned about their bond and breaking it with Urabe. So he wants to quit the movie and stop shooting. But Urabe urges him that he can't quit or can't stop because they've already come so far in the shooting, so that he might as well just keep going and finish the movie and see it to its conclusion. But then we come to the kiss scene. Because the movie has a kiss scene.
As every romance movie does.
Not only did it have Suwano being half naked in this movie production for a high school, but it's gonna have a kiss scene, which isn't as bad as, filming your main heroine semi-nude, but it's a little out there.
Yes.
So during this scene, the way they kiss is basically just put their cheeks together, but based on the camera angle, it looks like they're kissing. So afterwards, Suwano is supposed to give Tsubaki some of her spit. But when it happens, or when it's going to happen, Suwano asks the vice pres for the sports drink so she can do it herself, which is supposed to be like, I guess, sort of a red herring for the readers to try to think that Suwano isn't going to use the sports drink and is instead going to use her, like, do with the actual spit, which we find more about later because it does come up again. So after this, we learned that Tsubaki is supposed to say in the movie that Urabe's spit has no flavor, because throughout the movie production there has been scenes of Urabe like following Tsubaki, and then after Suwano leaves from doing the routine, goes up to him and is like, taste this, and yeah, which it turns out the reason it has no flavor, and like throughout the production this vice pres has been hinting at like how Urabe is hiding a secret in the movie, and it's because she's a robot.
Yes, because makes sense.
Yep, because Urabe is a robot, and everything that's been happening with Suwano up until this point was just a dream in the movie, not in real life. It was just a dream because Tsubaki, the poor man, is the last surviving human in the movie. He's the last person on Earth.
So, like, side note, how do you feel about actual movies that do that like build up so much and they're like, this never happened?
Yo, you're gonna think I'm so weird for this being the example I think of. but Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2.
I haven't watched any of the Twilights.
Ah,
I don't get the
disappointment.
reference.
All the people who've seen Twilight, they'll get it. I'm sad I get it. But when those movies came out, I didn't really have a choice. I was dragged along to go see them.
Didn't you watch them all with your girlfriend, you know?
No, my sister.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you rewatched them with your girlfriend.
No, I made her watch all the Star Wars movies. Which, hey, today's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
It's probably going to be like May the 5th or 6th when you watch this.
It'll be Cinco de Mayo when this comes out. And then maybe watch it on Revenge of the 6th.
Feliz Cinco de Mayo.
But I feel like it's just a big cop-out for movies. So I don't like it too much when they're like, it was all just a dream. Nothing really ever happened.
Yeah. I don't want to get into too many tangents because I had another like show example, but then we're supposed to be talking about Mysterious Girlfriend X and not
the best
movies
series ever. I keep getting notifications on my computer and they keep ringing in my ear. It's kind of annoying.
Bing.
Stop it. So yeah, Tsubaki is the last surviving human. Everything was a dream. Urabe's a robot. Love.
Yes.
So then we get to the last scene that's supposed to be filmed with Tsubaki. And it's basically Urabe as a robot explaining to Tsubaki everything that's happened and that he's the last surviving human and she was just intervening in his dream or simulation of living out a romance with Suwano, because in the movie that they're making, Tsubaki loved Suwano before the world came to an end.
This is the Matrix.
Yes, actually. So the last scene is supposed to be Urabe giving Tsubaki some of his spit, or some of her spit, and then him saying it's tasteless and crying. But because of everything that's been happening throughout the movie between Urabe and Tsubaki, that and their bond, which Tsubaki didn't tell any of this to Urabe, so it's just him been bottling up the emotions, I guess you could say. So when it happens and it's still tasteless, he starts actually crying, and he bends over and he says some lines which I didn't write down, but his tears fall into his mouth and he's like, it's sweet, I can taste it. And originally the director was gonna call cut, but one of her club members covered her mouth so she couldn't, and they let the scene go on. And that ends up being the scene that they use in the movie because she thinks that it carries more weight or equal amount of weight of what they would have been doing, so that's what she decides to run with. Oh, and with that scene, you get a panel of Urabe, and it looks anime as fuck.
Wait, I don't remember this one.
Hold on, let me find it, and I'll show you. It's very anime.
We'll put it in the show notes for the Urabe Collection Part 3.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes because it's very anime-esque, which sounds kind of dumb, I know, but when you see it, or if you've seen it, it should make sense, which I'm looking for it right now. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna hold it up to my webcam to see if maybe Zach can see it, but it's very anime as fuck.
Oh, this one. I remember.
Right? It's very anime-esque.
Yeah.
So it just kind of feels out of place. I mean, it's cute, but it just doesn't mesh with the art style. So after this, they're walking home, and Urabe questions why he was actually crying, and he basically says that when that scene was going on, he was imagining what it would have been like if Urabe's spit actually did become tasteless, and he compares it to if her spit did go tasteless, that basically is the end of the world for him.
Dang, he's very just what's the word? I lost the word.
Are you gonna say cringy?
That too.
Cheesy?
Couple goals, am I right? If you're not here, I'm not here.
And she basically just agrees with him that if the spit no longer is sweet, that's very sad, because that means they no longer have a bond, and we don't want to see that. So now it's the day of the culture festival. It's time for the movie that they've been working on for indiscriminate amount of time to be shown to the school.
Culture Festival Part 2.
Yep, it's the second culture festival. So the movie club is making a bunch of preparations for the movie showing. They're passing out flyers, trying to get attention for it so more people will come and see it. And the cafe, Tsubaki's class, which did the cafe, are doing their cafe things, you know. Oka's the cook because she's the best cook they have in the class.
Whoa, is that why she's the cook?
Yeah, that is why she's the cook.
Gotcha.
Yep. But all the people who are in Tsubaki's class who had a part in the movie are gonna try to find time so they can go and see the movie when it gets shown.
Push-up.
So now what?
Never mind.
Okay. So now we get a scene with Suwano and Tsubaki, because they're still doing preparations for the movie. And Suwano just makes the guess that Urabe is his girlfriend, which she got that guess based off, I think it was the kiss scene, based on how he was acting and like looking at her. He's like, oh, or it clicked in her head that, oh, Urabe must be his girlfriend. Why do I keep doing that? But she basically says that, yeah, she doesn't have like as slanted eyes as you thought or described. Or maybe she said she did. I don't remember. I can't remember something I read yesterday.
Yeah, Jared, you gotta like.
I have a very bad memory. Okay, that's why I wrote everything down.
I have an excuse for not remembering this. I read this like 4 months ago.
Well, I would have read this 4 months ago, but I was waiting until I could find a physical copy, but I couldn't. So we went to Amazon and bought the digital. So after that, Suwano asks him to taste her spit, which in this case we're thinking again, which he thinks so too. He's like, I can't do it again. Don't ever mention that I actually tasted your spit in the movie and it wasn't sports drink. And she pulls out the psych. It was sports drink. She doesn't really give a reason for like trying to convince him it was her spit. But yeah, it's the sports drink. She didn't actually give him her spit. So she gets him to do it again in front of all the people at school. And everyone like turns and is like, what are they doing? Why does he have her finger in his mouth? And then she busts out a poster that we didn't see her have originally, but she busts out a poster for the movie and is like, and that was a live reenactment of this movie, so come watch it.
I remember that. That was such a strange, like,
it was very random.
Yeah.
And now we get the return of Imai Momoka.
Yeah.
Yep, she returns for the movie arc. But she only returns so that she can perform on stage, to get more attention for the movie. Of course, she uses Urabe's appearance as like her alibi, not an alibi, but like as her disguise.
Yeah.
So when she goes up on stage, she says that she's Mikoto Urabe from class. I think her class is 2C. I'm pretty sure. And that she's doing a show for their movie. And that they everyone should go see their movie.
We love the support from Momoka.
Yes, sir. So when it comes to the debut of the movie, Oka makes Urabe and Suwano like get in formal dress, like actual dresses for the greeting of the crowd. Which this is only really relevant because it sets up the next chapter. Because at the end of the movie arc, which this is going to be the end of the movie arc, just so you know. But at the end of the movie arc, Oka points out that Suwano has a mole, like on the very low of her back, right above her where her butt would start. And then we learn that Oka has a mole fetish.
A very interesting fetish.
Yeah, there's a lot of fetishy.
Do you have a fetish, Jared?
Not that I know of.
Are you sure?
Quite. Although if I'm a fan of Mysterious Girlfriend X, do I have a fetish?
True. Is this like an indirect fetish?
I plead the fifth, and we're gonna move on.
Wonder what's like having a mole fetish.
I don't know. Just ask Oka, because she's got one. And now Tsubaki wants to see if Urabe has a mole, so he asks her to look to see if she does. So whenever she says that if she does, she'll show him unless it's in a spot that she can't show people. So she does. She looks when she's in the shower, and she does have a mole. But it is in a no-no zone, wherever that no-no zone may be. So she's like, sorry, bud, I can't show you. But here's a marker. You can draw one on me wherever you want, so long as it's nowhere weird. Which I feel like is weird in itself.
Does Urabe have siblings?
No.
Okay.
No, she doesn't. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's just her parents.
I thought it was like a sibling that found it because she couldn't see it.
That was for Suwano. Suwano's younger sister counted 34 of her moles
gotcha.
On her body.
That's where the sibling was.
Yeah, that's the sibling. So Urabe draws a mole on... No, not Urabe. Tsubaki draws a mole under Urabe's... what would be the left eye.
Those moles kind of cute, I guess.
I mean, I guess.
A lot of people have those.
Yeah, I have 2 on the side of my face right here.
Or no, I have at least 1.
I got a couple. So in between that chapter and the next chapter, there's like a quick reference to Urabe trying to figure out what fruit she liked during the autumn season. Because she wants to have that fruit again.
And she forgot the name of said fruit, which is a pretty common fruit.
Yep, but we'll get to that fruit in a second. Because we're going to move on to Tsubaki's insecurities.
Very quick change.
Yep. Because ever since the movie that they produced, Mysterious Girlfriend Y, came out, he's been having like a lot of dreams of people doing Urabe and Tsubaki's routine in public, and then Urabe having Tsubaki do the routine in front of a bunch of people. And she's like, it doesn't matter. Look around us. Everyone else is doing it. So he's very uncomfortable with that because he doesn't like the idea of their special routine becoming less special because now everyone is doing it, which to a certain degree makes sense because then it no longer feels special.
Yeah.
Which, side note, because I don't really know how to talk about it, but their movie sold lots of copies. Good for them.
Yes, DVDs. They got a lot of DVD sales.
Yep. So Tsubaki tells Urabe about this. And that's when she remembers her favorite fruit. So she goes and gets her favorite fruit.
The hardest fruit to remember.
The absolute hardest fruit to remember. It was a grape.
The simple grape.
How do you forget the name of grapes?
Okay, so now I'm craving both applesauce and grapes.
Nah, I just want applesauce.
I can't eat until like 8.
Are you still fasting?
I am.
Feels bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes and gets grape from the supermarket. And then I'll give her props for this because I can barely do this normally. But she peels the skin off the grape without damaging it all. And then she just covers it in her spit and sticks it in his mouth.
Love.
Yep. And to him, it's super sweet, but it also has like an autumny vibe, which I don't know how something has an autumn vibe. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's a grape. And I guess grapes are very prevalent during the autumn season? I don't really know about that one. But that's what it implies.
I thought they were like a spring thing. But I feel like every plant's a spring thing in my head, so I'm probably completely wrong.
Yeah, I know some things are in season, like at different seasons, but I wouldn't imagine grapes being an autumn thing.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just dumb. So after that, we just quickly go through all the seasons. We hit Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, and White Day, which is basically Valentine's Day but reversed. So we're going to cover all those real quick, and then that'll be the end of Volume 5. Okay, so Christmas. Tsubaki's family has kept a tree that his deceased mother bought, but it's so old that it doesn't work anymore. And Tsubaki's sister refuses to buy a new one because it has the memory of it being purchased by their deceased mother, which makes sense. So it's more of a sentimental value rather than an actual value.
Mm-hmm.
And for once, Urabe's parents are home, so she does spend Christmas with her family. But then in the middle of the night, she calls Tsubaki out because she wants to show him something. So he yoinks the tree to take with him because she wanted to see the tree.
Yoink, Scoob. Where'd the tree go?
Yep, she took the tree. He took the tree. So what she wanted to show him was that her dad got her a Christmas outfit, but what it was just like a Santa dress. So now she's wearing a Santa dress, which
cute.
It's pretty cute, yeah. But she picks up the tree, and then like it just immediately lights up. But we promise there's no supernatural things, because you need a plug for that.
You know, like it just decided that it had some energy and wanted to light up. No supernatural.
It was just storing up energy from the outlet in its battery. Duh.
You're right, it's non-existent battery.
And then when it touched Urabe, it went into a grounded state and turned on.
Yeah, the potential. What's the word?
I don't know, but we're gonna stop being a nerd. So now we move on to New Year's.
Jared's a civil engineer.
Not for long.
In training.
So now we move to New Year's, and it's the Year of the Snake. Which actually, what year is the Year of the Snake? I'm gonna figure that out real quick. We're gonna do a quick Google search. Year of the Snake. So the next Year of the Snake is 2025.
Not too long. Wait, when was the last year of the snake?
Last year of the snake.
I forgot how many Zodiac
it's in a
members are.
12-year cycle. So the last one was 2013. Which actually makes kind of sense, because these works were being published from 26 to 2014. So maybe that just means he published this one at 2013, when it was the Year of the Snake.
Did you say 26?
Did I say 26?
Yeah.
I meant 2006. So yeah, it's the Year of the Snake. And Urabe sends Tsubaki a card, and on it has a white and pink striped snake, which is, in a way, foreshadowing. Because Oka asks Urabe if, since it's a new year, are you going to change anything about your look? And she's like, no. But then during the routine with Tsubaki and her, Tsubaki begins to see a pink and white striped snake like following Urabe around and coiling around her. So then he hugs her, and Urabe does the normal panty scissors thing. But when she does, he sees that she's no longer wearing white panties. She's wearing pink and white striped panties.
Ah. Yes.
Which it turns out Urabe just thought they were cute, so she bought a bunch of them.
Which valid.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Yeah. So then he's like, was your white and pink striped snake on the card you sent me supposed to be like, hey, I got new underwear.
I got new panties, check it out.
And she's like, I'll never tell you, even if it's true. Go away, you
That's
weirdo.
That's such a weird thing to do. Like, we know they're quirky, but
yeah,
an interesting amount
of
quirk.
It to a whole new level. So now we're on to Valentine's Day.
Tomo chakras?
Yes, sir. So originally, Urabe doesn't want to give Tsubaki chocolates because it's too conventional. And you know them, they're not conventional. So Oka's like, nah, bitch, you gotta get him chocolate because boys are very...
simple.
That's not the word I was gonna use. Very... What is it? Hold on. Because she's like, boys are very sensitive, so, you gotta get them chocolate. Otherwise, they're gonna feel very sad, especially if they don't get chocolate from their girlfriends.
True. So on Valentine's, if you didn't get anything from your girlfriend, like, would you be like, oh, nothing? I feel like I wouldn't be, like, sad, but, like, oh, okay, type of thing, you know?
I was gonna ask you, have you ever gotten chocolate for Valentine's Day?
Not from a girlfriend, because I don't think I've had a long-term thing happening.
At all?
At all. Actually, I think I've gotten chocolate from a couple people.
I can't remember if I have. I don't think I ever have, besides from my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you know who did get chocolate from people who weren't his girlfriend? Tsubaki.
Because he's a player.
Tsubaki gets chocolate from the vice president and Suwano, and both of them say that the reasoning for them giving him chocolate is because they worked on the movie together. Which, I mean, I guess that's a fair reasoning because they're friends, and as a reward for working on the movie, here's some chocolate. Enjoy it. But Tsubaki doesn't want Urabe to be jealous of the chocolate, so before they meet up after school to do the routine, Tsubaki just scarfs that chocolate down. Make sure there's no evidence in his bag or anywhere near him. But then as they're doing the routine, Urabe sees some chocolate far on his cheek, which I have to question how he got chocolate that far in on his cheek.
And she licks it off of him.
No, she gets mad.
Oh.
So then she leaves and eats chocolate that she was going to give to him. But then in a weird cut, she gets she runs into his sister, and they end up buying chocolate together, and she ends up giving Tsubaki a heart-shaped chocolate.
They don't know that they're both connected to Tsubaki.
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
But, it was a really weird cut for her to just 180 get him chocolate, which is, I mean, it's fine, but it was a little weird. So now it's time for White Day. Whoop whoop. Which White Day is White Day only in Japan? Do you know?
I think so. We haven't done that here, but also I feel like a lot of us in the U.S. don't really do too much during Valentine's unless you have a very close significant other.
Sure. But basically all White Day is, and it's apparently a month later. I thought it was just the day after Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's a month later.
I didn't know. I thought it was just the day after Valentine's Day. But it's when the boys reciprocate any chocolate or gifts they got from girls if they want. So they give them back something in return.
Yeah, I feel in the US, both parties, I guess,
give them at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time rather than one.
Girls on Valentine's Day and boys on White Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Tsubaki gives Suwano and the vice pres small boxes of cookies. They only fit 2 cookies in them because they're that small. But Tsubaki makes sure to give Suwano's in a closet since they're class representatives, they have to get something from the closet. So that's when he gives her box of cookies, 2 cookies.
When you gotta trade secret shit, do it in the closet.
Yes, sir. Because he doesn't want Urabe to get jealous from the fact that he's giving her a gift for White Day. And this is when Suwano goes a little off the rails. Because Suwano asks Tsubaki if he had the opportunity, would he date her? Because she's okay being numero dos. She's okay being that side hoe. Yeah. So then she gets really close to him, and he walks backwards, trips and falls, but he's holding a map, and it's in this very long tubed container. So as he's falling, the map goes up and lifts her skirt, and he sees that she's wearing black panties.
Why does this always happen in manga and anime? Somehow, somewhere, you see the panties of the wrong person.
Anime trope, fan service, I don't know, one of those 2. So now the joke becomes that it's no longer White Day, but it's Black Day, because in his mind, he only has the image of those black panties. But instead of them being in the shape of an underwear, it's just his entire mind is seeing black. Which, it was a pretty funny joke, I'll admit. So Urabe does take, I don't remember why, but Urabe, it's because he didn't want her to, because his mind was only on black. But Urabe takes some of his spit and also only gets all black, and asks him what's up with that. So he explains the reason why, and then she does a twirl, and she's no longer wearing her white pink striped underwear, because it's back to being just plain white. And basically she's just making it White Day again.
This is such a strange...
It's a strange interaction.
Yeah. interpretation of White Day.
And then she basically just explains that, like, because of their bond, it's impossible for them to lie to each other, which makes sense because it'd be pretty hard to lie to someone if you can feel each other's emotions just by like trading spit.
Not in a supernatural way.
Not in a supernatural way. And then Tsubaki's cookies taste better after it's White Day again.
The cookies that Suwano gave him.
No, the cookies that he gave.
Oh. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why it left my mind about this being White Day and not Valentine's.
Yeah, you stupid.
My bad.
And that's the end of Volume 5.
Time for Volume 6.
Yep, now we're going to move on to Volume 6.
The last volume?
Yeah, it's the last volume. So at least in the English. It's the last volume.
True. Because how many?
There's
chapters?
12 in Japanese.
Yeah, they like removed half the chapters. But
no, they combined them. So each 2 Japanese is 1 English.
Gotcha, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So now this volume starts off with them playing softball, and it's between class 2C and 2A, and they introduce a new thirst trap for Tsubaki.
I remember this.
Yeah, her name's Yoshikawa,
and she got biggie badonkadonks.
Yep, and her defining feature for all the boys is that she got a pair on her. She got some ginormous breastises.
Some, I don't know a Z word, but I was going to say chivalrous chesticles.
I was trying to think of the G word, but I couldn't remember it. Gazunga?
Ginormous gazungas.
No, like gazunga as in what's the size.
No, gazunga means the boobies.
But yeah, that's basically her defining feature for all the boys. So now all the boys in Tsubaki's class are very distracted by Yoshikawa and her appearance. So now Tsubaki's class is losing very poorly. So now Urabe basically calls all boys simple-minded, because so basically she went to dive for one of the bases and she got a scrape on her chest, which I have to question how she got a scrape on her chest, but for the sake of the story she did. So she tells Tsubaki that she got a cut, and he's like, "Where'd you get it?" And she's like, "I don't know, here's some spit." So when he's when he's up to bat, I think his chest starts bleeding, and he's like, "Oh, it was on Urabe's boob." And then he says, "Urabe's boobs are the only boobs for me." And then he hits a home run.
Yes, that's not like, how creepy is it just to start bleeding from the chest?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how did you even get a cut, like a scrape there, like a size? Because it was a pretty sizable scrape on Tsubaki. So it's like, how'd you manage that?
Yeah, wasn't he wearing a white shirt, and that's why he could see it so well?
Yeah. So after that, like, okay. So the rest of Volume 6 is kind of basically just a bunch of filler. There's like nothing really substantial in it. It's a bunch of small chapters, but they don't really do much for the story, which is another reason I feel like the ending of Mystery's Girlfriend X feels kind of rushed, because they just move along. So I don't know how much of it I actually want to cover, especially since we're already like around the hour mark.
Let's just spark note it, okay? Ready? So first, Tsubaki's sister gets a dress.
No, Urabe gets a dress from Tsubaki's sister. But originally
I can't read.
Yeah, Dumbo. But Tsubaki didn't like the dress, but he mostly didn't like it for his sister, because when it's completely wet, it's like entirely see-through.
Which
and
both of them did not know.
Yeah, Tsubaki's sister and Urabe didn't know until Urabe wore it out, because it was raining that day, which is why it's relevant, I guess. But basically, Tsubaki doesn't like men fawning over his sister, And then he proceeds to call all men perverts, including himself.
Which, like, I guess true.
Yeah.
Don't add us, men.
90% of our watch demographic is men, so we're
Don't
all
add us.
perverts.
Yeah.
Okay, so a wall is constructed along the pool to block the view from the boys into the pool. So the girls ask the swim coach if, like, for one day they can wear their own swimsuits, and the coach agrees, like, yeah, sure, go ahead and wear, for one day you can wear your own swimsuit because the boys can't see. So Yoshikawa makes a bet with Urabe's class to race 3 against 3 in a relay race, and the loser has to go get drinks for the winner from the vending machine, which is, like, in front of the soccer field, which would be in full view of the boys.
Yeah, and the boys are playing soccer right now.
Yep.
So, like, they're playing soccer, they're kicking the soccer ball, like, way past the goal, so they have an excuse to, like, go over.
No, that was in the first volume.
God, I don't remember when any of these were. Oh, just ignore me.
Yeah. So Urabe's class does win, but only because Suwano tricks Urabe into getting serious about the race. She says that she's wearing a red bikini because Tsubaki told her that a red bikini is, like, his favorite form of swimsuit, which she later tells Urabe was a lie, just that it was just to get her serious about the race.
What's your favorite type of swimsuit, Jared?
I don't know. I haven't given that any sort of consideration. What's your favorite swimsuit?
I don't know either. Well, I have an idea, but I will not disclose.
Glad we came to this conclusion.
You're welcome.
Okay, so after that, we get fireworks, right? And it's very weird because it starts off with, like, a random flashback to Tsubaki and Ueno as kids. And basically, when they were kids, they used to sneak into their grade school to go to the roof of the building because it gave, like, a very good view of the fireworks. And at this time, present day, a festival is going on, which Tsubaki wants to invite Urabe to, but he knows he'll probably run into classmates, so it's not going to be very easy for them to, like, keep it a secret. So, quick side note, the OVA for Miss J's Girlfriend X is actually them going to a festival together.
Cute.
So instead of going to the festival to try to, like, chance other classmates seeing them together, Tsubaki invites Urabe to the roof of the grade school to see the fireworks. Which they go there, no problem there. But then as the fireworks are starting, and since it's lighting up the sky, Tsubaki and Urabe can see that Ueno and Oka are also there, just on a different side of the roof, and that they're kissing.
Which, like, Ueno and Oka are a pretty cute couple.
I mean, I guess, but I still don't like Oka.
To each their own.
If you say so.
She's what got the ball rolling. Just in a manipulative fashion.
No, she isn't. She came in after the fact.
No, but, like, she helped them along.
Not really, but sure. Yeah, and Urabe thinks it's cute that both Tsubaki and Ueno thought to bring their girlfriends to a place that has so much sentimental value to the two of them, since they used to go there as kids. So after that, we get, like, a little backstory of how Oko and Ueno started dating. And basically, in their freshman or sophomore year, Oko was a part of the student council. So she had to go home late, and as every high schooler does in Japan, they basically just walked home. So Ueno was concerned for her safety because she had to walk home alone at night. So basically, at first, he just stalked her to make sure she got home safe. And then when Oka confronted him one night, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I just wanted to make sure you were getting home safe because you're a girl and you're so small and you're walking home alone at night and there's weirdos in the world."
Ueno's not one of them.
He's not one of them at all. Yeah. So that's basically how they started dating, is they kept walking home together after school. And then on the last day that she was in student council,
He confessed.
they both kind of confessed. And they do explain that in the story, because, like, Oka, quote-unquote, subliminally, we're going to pretend that's how you say that, told Ueno that she liked him and wanted to date, but Ueno's the one that, like, fully asked for it.
Yeah. It's because he wouldn't be able to walk home with her anymore. So he had to commit. Oka's just kind of manipulative.
Yes, now you see it!
Well, no, I've been new, but...
So now we go to a tennis match.
I play tennis.
You used to play tennis.
Every so often I'll still play tennis.
And basically Suwano is now a ghost member for the tennis team. And she challenges Urabe to a match. Which before and during that match, Tsubaki kept looking at Suwano's legs. Which Urabe does end up calling him out on. But to get, like, serious or actually into the game, Urabe basically just goes barefoot. And then Tsubaki starts staring at her legs. So yeah, like, Tsubaki for sure, 100% has a leg fetish.
Tsubaki has a lot of fetishes.
Yep.
I don't know how many we haven't counted, but he has at least 2.
Nope. But this gets a little weird. Because then he whips out a piece of paper, and it's like, because she's rinsing her feet out as they're walking home. So he whips out a sheet of paper and is like, Urabe, this spot right here, you see that spot? It's pretty muddy. Can you please step in it and then give me your footprint so I can hang it in my room?
That's not creepy at all. What would you do if girlfriend asked you?
I would say
that?
no. I don't want anyone hanging a picture of my footprint in their room.
My muddy footprint.
But I mean, I guess Urabe's into it because she does the happy spit gush, and this is actually the last one of the series. I don't know why that made her happy enough to just eject spit, but it did apparently.
Like, I can get the appeal of legs, you know, but
you don't like feet?
I don't know, feet aren't just like my thing, you know.
Yeah,
I can't really see it, but like, to each their own.
Okay, I'm probably gonna cut out some of the chapters because I just don't want to talk about them. But Suwano gets a stalker photography quote-unquote boyfriend in this volume. So basically a sophomore, which we do find out that Tsubaki and all of them are in the 11th grade. So they're juniors, but doesn't that also mean it's their last year of high school since Japanese high school?
I don't know how like number grades work.
Okay, well, I don't know how they work overseas.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically a sophomore took her photo in secret and entered it into a photo contest, which he won.
Oh, I remember this.
So the photographer...
This chapter was nice.
It was alright. So the photography club president, I think he was, took that sophomore to Suwano to, like, apologize about, creepily taking her photo and entering it into a photo contest without her permission. And she was like, that's okay. It's alright. You want to go take another photo shoot? So then they, like, go throughout the city, just him taking random photos of her. But when they're in the city, they run into Suwano's ex, who basically just warns Mr. Broski, because he thinks they're dating, that she's not as nice as she seems. So then Mr. Mans screams that he doesn't know anything about his girlfriend and runs away with Suwano. And then he, like, apologizes profusely for calling her, for, like, screaming that out since they're not dating. And he tries to, like, explain that he has no, like, romantic interest in girls because to him they're, like, the perfect photo subject, and if he were to start dating his photo subject, it would like ruin his ability to take good photos of them, which is kind of weird. But that's how he explains it. So then it cuts to Tsubaki still wanting a cute picture of Urabe, because the first one he got, which good photo, he wasn't happy with. So shame on him.
I think it was like a great photo. Like,
it was a great photo.
That's better than like a normal smile.
It is. It's better. It's definitely better than a normal smile. We'll probably include it in the show notes too.
Yeah, like candid photos. Mm-hmm. Better than like staging.
So this time she surprisingly agrees to take the photo, but as the photo is being printed from the Polaroid, she cuts it up with her scissors and tells him not to rely on seeing like cute images of his girlfriend.
Which I don't know, like when you have a significant other, you do kind of want a photo of them,
Yeah.
I can see where he's coming from.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut this chapter out.
Which one?
But basically the bowling date. But basically the gist of it is Tsubaki is a god tier bowler. It's Urabe's first time, but because she's so athletic, she's also a god tier bowler. And then what's her face? The thirst trap imposes on their date and makes a wager that Urabe loses, and Urabe and Tsubaki almost end up kissing, but he calls the wager off because Urabe is crying. So if you want to know more about that chapter, go and read it, because I'm not going to talk about it. But that's basically the gist of it. Okay. So now we move on to It's Snowing, which really puts into perspective how much time has passed. Because at the start of volume 6, it was White Day, or right after White Day. So they really just went through a whole year in half a volume, which kind of puts into perspective, which basically just makes this feel more rushed, because they're showing a year's time in those couple chapters. So Urabe runs into Tsubaki's sister after Tsubaki's sister, I'm going to keep calling her Tsubaki's sister because I don't remember her name. But after Tsubaki's sister runs into the first boyfriend she had in high school. And Tsubaki's sister is crying because it basically brought up all those old emotions. So she tells Urabe to go with her to take a bath with her. Because, there's just public baths everywhere in Japan.
Yeah.
But while they're in the bath, Urabe confesses to his sister that him and Tsubaki are dating. That's a weird scenario to confess to your significant other's sibling that y'all are dating.
True.
While you're naked in a bath together.
She adorably sink down into the water when she says that.
I'm not too sure. Let me take a quick look. I'll let you know.
In my head, that's what she did.
She might have. Let me see. Yeah, she does. She does the embarrassed sink down into it so you can only see her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she basically just tells Tsubaki's sister that they're dating. And that's the gist of that chapter. That's the main thing that happens there. But now we go back to Suano and her creepy boyfriend. That's not her boyfriend. And we find out that Suano has been going to his house and taking semi-nude photos. Yeah, and by not creepy at all. And by semi-nude, she's nude, but she has a bed sheet.
But covering
she has a bed. She's covering her lady bits with a bed sheet, and that's categorized as semi-nude.
That's so I don't know how to describe
It's weird.
That. Even if you like this dude, right? I don't think I would put up with that.
And I mean, even beyond that, she goes to say that she's starting to get annoyed with him taking so many pictures, because it's of every little thing she does, and she sometimes has to repeat things so that he can take a picture of it. And she confronts him about that, and she basically says that if she didn't like him, she wouldn't have been putting up with his photo shoot tendencies. So then he just straight up kisses her.
Which is still not harassing her,
No,
right?
not at all. And it's also definitely not further than Tsubaki and Urabe have gone.
Mr. Mans and Suwano like ran from like 1 to
They
10
went
real
0
quick,
to 100 real quick.
Yeah, Tsubaki is still on
Yeah,
the
and
top.
they've been dating for 3 years now.
Yep.
But yeah, after he kisses her, they start dating, and now Suwano has a boyfriend. I'm gonna briefly cover this chapter, but it's basically about cologne.
Cologne?
Cologne.
Sorry. Side note: I had cologne on yesterday, and it still hasn't like disappeared, so I can still smell it, and it's really weird because I'm in pajamas.
That's why I don't wear cologne. So Tsubaki's sister gives him like cologne, the same cologne that she gave her first boyfriend as a gift. And
are you gonna keep saying cologne?
How is he supposed to say it?
You're right. My colon.
Yeah. So she gave him the cologne because now she knows that him and Urabe are dating, and she can tell when he's going on a date with Urabe based on the clothing he's wearing. Because either way, he says he's going out with Ueno, but whenever he's actually going out with Ueno, he basically just wears an old shirt and sweatpants. But whenever he's going out with Urabe, he like dresses nice, and that's like her like no factor to know when he's actually going out with Urabe.
Her no factor.
Gotcha.
I
could have said something better, but no factor came out. Yeah. And basically, after Tsubaki leaves, his sister recalls when her boyfriend first used the cologne when they went karaoke, and she got so intoxicated by the smell of his cologne that she got a little frisky in the karaoke booth. So frisky that her boyfriend had to stop her. But then she...
Respectable boyfriend.
Respectable. But then she doesn't think that Tsubaki would stop Urabe if Urabe made the same move. But like, can you blame Tsubaki? I wouldn't stop her.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable thinking.
We also know Tsubaki has no self-control.
Reasonable, yeah. It's evident if you look back to like volume 2 when he pushed her down.
Oh, yeah. And then like nibbled on her ear. Licked her ear? Licked her ear.
But I mean, I can't blame Tsubaki. I don't know if I would stop Urabe. Urabe specifically. Yeah. But then she basically gets upset and takes back the cologne whenever he gets back from the date because she doesn't want them doing anything frisky, and basically says that he doesn't need it right now and he'll get it back later.
Wait, so what I just learned is both Tsubaki and Jared are not respectable men.
Ah, you got me. I'm not a gentleman. Cancel me.
Remember, all men are perverts.
Yep. I mean, yeah, exactly. You can't expect me to be respectable when all men are perverts.
Oh. That was a joke, everyone. Don't take that seriously.
Call it satire. That's not satire.
It's not satire. That's sarcasm.
Maybe.
Is that what you tried saying?
I don't know. Okay, and then so after that we get like a quick chapter that's basically just a reflection on Tsubaki and Urabe's relationship, because like after they've been dating so long, he no longer gets flustered over like sharing a drink with Urabe because that's like an indirect kiss. But yeah, it's basically like no big deal to him anymore, which he realizes might have offended her, so he goes over to her house to apologize to him, or to apologize to her. And then after apologizing, she comes out like fresh out of the shower in like soaking wet towels, and she's like, "Oh, so I have to look like this to make you blush anymore?" Yeah. And Oka basically just points out that both Suwano and Urabe's personalities have changed quite a bit after getting into relationships, which I mean is bound to happen. Yeah. I guess when you're in a relationship, especially like if it's your first one ever. So I can't wait to see your personality change, Mr. Zaki boy.
Stop calling me out.
No, that's like the most fun thing to do. That's the best part about talking about a romance anime. I can talk about how you have no experience in any form.
I have no like real long term like actual experience.
You can't say leading on a girl is experience.
Hey, no, that's not what I was talking about. Also, no one's gonna get the context of that, and they'll just see me as an asshole.
Yep, that's why I said it.
There's way more context to that, and I didn't just lead her on.
There's context to that, and he's not an asshole, but just, if you want to think he's an asshole, go ahead and think that.
Yeah, come at me at the Twitter for Gym Trash Podcast. Twitter.com/Gym Trash Podcast.
I'll fight you in the DMs. Okay. So we get one more chapter before the last one, but I feel like it's not important enough to talk about. So I'll give like a brief summary of it again. Oka and Urabe are buying swimsuits for the summer. Ueno and Tsubaki are also in the same like mall that they're buying the swimsuits. And I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, so you're gonna have to help me out here. But a gravure?
Is it French?
I don't know.
I don't know what this word is.
It's basically like a person who models underwear, like stuff like that, or like bikini, gravure, Gravure.
Gravure.
That. Basically, there's one of those models doing a promotion, and
wait. Sorry, that was the British pronunciation.
You know what? British pronunciation's good enough.
Gravure. There it is. Gravure.
Same difference. So the boys get caught watching that promotion by Urabe and Oka. And basically they just go home after that. So Tsubaki invites Urabe to the beach. But when she tries his spit, all she sees is an image of that model, and she's like, I don't want to agree to go to the beach when he's got some other girl on his mind. So then she cuts up her dress to expose the swimsuit that she's wearing.
The swimsuit.
So now his mind is only on her, and she's like, that's right. Now I'll go with you to the beach. But you're paying for everything because I just cut up my favorite dress.
Men are simple.
Men are very simple. Sometimes we be thinking with the wrong head. Okay. And now we get to the last two chapters. So it starts off with Tsubaki's sister and her friends like reminiscing on their high school experiences from like mostly the high school love. And like one of Tsubaki's sister's like best memories of it is with her first boyfriend and how many sunsets they got to see like after school. But beyond that, the last two chapters do focus mainly on like Tsubaki's mom's death and how that's affected Tsubaki up and like throughout his life. Cause
yeah, this is like what the last episode of the anime was based off of?
No, the last episode of the anime was the last chapter of volume 1. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so it's mostly about how it affected Tsubaki because like they've mentioned previously, his mom died at a young age. So he didn't really get to see... No, not his mom died at a young age, but his mom died when he was at a young age. So he didn't really get to see much of her. And actually they had to remove like all the pictures of her from the house because anytime he saw one of those pictures, he'd start crying. And this is kind of seen, well, more foreshadowed because whenever Tsubaki's sister came home drunk from her outing with her friends, Tsubaki laid her in her bed and started crying when he saw her sleeping, which comes into play later. But basically, him seeing his sister sleeping kind of like subconsciously reminded him of what his mom looked like. And one of the things that Tsubaki's sister was mentioning during her outing with her friends was that she had something she needed to do tomorrow, so she couldn't drink too much. Which it turns out the thing that she needed to do was actually celebrate the mother's anniversary, like of her death, which whenever she goes to the grave, Urabe is already there. So she's like confused as to how Urabe even knew that it was the anniversary and why she was there. And Urabe basically just tries to say that Tsubaki told her about it, but then she's like, Tsubaki doesn't even know when the anniversary is. So to explain it, Urabe basically like explains the bond that her and Tsubaki have, and that when they're together, Urabe can see different things, see things. She just leaves out the spit part, which is probably smart.
Yeah, because you don't want to give away your fetish to your boyfriend's sister.
Yeah, because that's a little weird.
Yeah.
So she basically explains that like she saw an image of what she believes to be younger Tsubaki next to a bed with what she believes to be his mom in the bed, like on her deathbed, and that's what like made her come to the grave for her anniversary. So after this, Tsubaki's sister gives Tsubaki an envelope with their mom's picture in it, because she believes that Tsubaki is old enough now to like see that picture again without, so many emotions being attached to it. But when Tsubaki and Urabe are together, he tries to cut it up with her scissors, and she stops him. She basically just says that she'll hold on to it until he's ready to see it. Yeah.
Cute.
So they do almost kiss in the last chapter, but they don't, because they're like, we don't want, or Tsubaki doesn't want to, because it's really Urabe who's going in for it, and she's like all down, ready to do it. But Tsubaki stops her because he doesn't want to lose the routine that they have currently, at least not while they're in school. Because Urabe says that kissing is basically just swapping spit, which it is. Can't falter there. But that if they kiss, then there's no more need for them to do the finger thing, because they can just kiss. Which he basically just says that he doesn't, while they're still in school, like in their school forms, which basically just while they're still in school, he doesn't want to lose that routine, so he wants to wait until they're outside of school. Which Urabe agrees to. And then she tries to tell him something, but she stops herself. And it's exposed to the reader that while Urabe and Tsubaki's sister were in the bath together after she confessed to his sister, Urabe told her that she wanted to be together forever with Tsubaki. And then the series ends with Urabe running from him and him chasing her across the sunset.
Like, not gonna lie, I didn't like all of the build up for Tsubaki just to be like, no, we're not gonna kiss.
Yeah, which Ricci does like talk about that at the end of the manga, and he's basically like one of the things he wanted to capture was what's so great about youth is that nothing actually happens. So that's what he was trying to go for. So that's why he cut it off at the end.
I think a lot of people like kind of didn't enjoy how it ended, but like overall, like. It's
I love the series. It's definitely my favorite series ever. Just, I feel like the ending was so rushed, because after the movie arc, there isn't really anything after it besides a bunch of smaller chapters.
Yeah, a bunch of like slice of life chapters that like don't really add anything to the story. But they had to like ramp it back down somehow.
Yeah, they had to wrap
so that
it up.
They could end it.
But I will say, Ricci is like someone who's known for like referencing his works in other works of his. So in his following series that came out after this, which is Ukuma-chan Flashback, his like main character is a manga artist, and one of the mangas that she was working on in that series is basically a spoof of Mysterious Girlfriend X. It's called Unconfirmed Girlfriend X in that new series. And in that series, I believe the two characters do get married. So that could be like, you know, Urabe and Tsubaki do end up getting married in the future. So there's something to think about.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Completely. Oh, what's with all of these like manga artists drawing mangas about manga artists?
I don't know. That's so weird.
There's so many of them.
That is true. There's a lot of them, and it's pretty funny. They're just, you know, talking about their lives basically at that point.
Yeah. But that was the end of Mysterious Podcast X.
Well, this one was Mysterious Podcast Y, but only because of the movie arc.
Oh.
But yeah, that's going to be the end of the first series that I'm covering. So Zach and I have been talking, and we both think that like a good schedule for us is group up. Okay, so we're going to group up our series that we cover into like its own individual series. So this 3 episodes over Mysterious Girlfriend X was a series. It's my first series. So now we're going to take a week break so Zach can figure out what he wants to talk about, which actually kind of works because we have finals next week, so that gives us more time to focus on that. And then after that week break, we'll be back next Wednesday, which is going to be the 19th. So that's when the next episode should come out, is the 19th. And then he's going to do his series, however long that lasts. And then after that ends, and then we'll take another week break for me to just plan out my next series, which I already know which anime or manga I'm going to talk about. So that's going to be a fun time. But yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do.
Yeah. I'm not completely sure what I want to do, if I want to keep it in the realm of like anime and manga, or if I want to just completely change it up. But we'll figure that out.
That's what the week is also for, so you can make a decision.
Yeah. I have ideas in my mind, but I don't want to spoil them for you. So you're just going to have to wait that week. I'm so sorry.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the first series of our podcast. Again, we're so sorry about like the abysmal audio quality for the first episode, but for each episode now, the quality should be good. It may get better depending on what we do next, but for now, it's definitely at a good area.
Yeah, it probably won't get worse.
Hopefully, it won't get worse. We make no promises.
Yeah, we can only get better from here. But yeah, thanks. And I hope you enjoyed Mysterious Podcast X with the Gym Trash Podcast.
If you want to watch it, the season 1's on Crunchyroll. Not sponsored.
Oh, I thought you meant the Gym Trash Podcast is on Crunchyroll.
No, we're not.
No.
That's for animes. So yeah, if you want to give it a watch, if you've never seen it before, I highly recommend it. Just know that series 1 ends kind of short. It does take up like the space of 3 volumes, but it doesn't cover all 3 volumes just because the adaptation's a little wonky. But I highly recommend it. If you want to keep up with us and when episodes are coming out, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Gym Trash Podcast for both. I run the Instagram, Zach runs the Twitter. So if you want to harass one of us specifically, now you know.
Only harass Jared.
No. If you want to leave suggestions for things for us to cover in the future, go ahead and leave that in one of our DMs. We'll get to it. We do have things lined up, or I have things lined up already, but we'll definitely get to it. And if you got any feedback so we can make things better for you, please let us know.
Yep.
One more thing. You should totally share this podcast around so we can continue to grow and more people can hear it.
That would be very great. If you could, please.
All right. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks on May 19th.
Bye.
Bye.